Amazon generated over $600 billion in sales last year. How much of that did your brand take? In this video, I'll share what we did to grow some of our brands by more than 125% last year on Amazon, actually. I'm Jassim Isa, CEO and founder of Videro. Over the last 10 years, we've scaled brands on Amazon, generating over hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. I talk to dozens of brand owners every single week who feel stuck, working hard but not seeing the real growth. Most struggle because they don't know what actually moves the needle. If your brand offers high quality in-need products, but you're not seeing the growth you expected, this video is for you. This is the first in a series where I'll break down the key strategies and biggest mistakes brands make so you can scale the right way without wasting time or money. So the first thing is offering high quality need products. This is the basics. Before we get into the other stuff, is the first one is finding the right market gap. I want to tell a quick story. It's a very good story. It's basically a marketing professor. He asks his students, "What do you guys think for if you have a hot dog stand? What main advantage would you want for that hot dog stand?" So a lot of people are going to say great prices, manufacturing costs, nice banner, a reputation. They named off different examples, but the professor responded, "What's really the most important thing is a starving crowd, because you're filling in a need. You can think of masks during COVID, for example, or toilet paper during COVID. So how that the implications for that on Amazon is finding keywords with high search volume that aren't being fulfilled or addressed properly. You already have traffic going that way. You just have to capture it. And the second one is Amazon's AI is getting smarter. A lot of people got used to using gimmicks. We know SEO, stuffing your title, it used to work, but Amazon's AI is starting to catch up to that kind of stuff, where they just released a new rule of the 200 words in a title only once, and also it's not ranking you as effectively anymore. What really ranks you is just having a great quality product, not the gimmicks, having quality, taking out the bad stuff that are not useful. And this also obviously helps you build a brand in the long term. You release a lot of good products, you add those on top of each other, you start getting brand equity, brand search. It just makes everything else easier. The point of these two things, the market gap and the great product, that you'll be able to make other processes easier. I'm going to mention the three things like relevancy, click-through, and conversion later. If you get those right, it makes things easier. And how would you know? As you can check your Vine reviews. Those are honest customers. I know sometimes they're biased. I heard incentivized to leave 3 stars and less reviews, but overall they give very deep feedback that we actually have benefited from improving our product, doing development. And the other one, actually, also, if your product picks up track. We had a product within a week. It was selling a couple units a day. We weren't doing much advertising or anything pretty much, but we knew that we hit the right gap and we hit it with a good product. We doubled down on it. We started spending a lot more on advertising, and lo and behold, a couple quarters later, it was selling thousands of units a month. And that's the two quick tell signs if we got those two right. So like I mentioned earlier, finding a great quality product with a great market gap makes relevancy, conversion, and click-through much easier. So them alone, they might grow, but they won't grow you fast enough. But it's where you should start. So this is where I get into the second part, is now that we're assuming we have those at least at a decent state, a great product and good market gap at a decent state, we can get into the next step of the 3 pillars of Amazon growth. Amazon is pretty simple. You have to get these 3 things right, and they're in order. So the first one is relevancy, which is impressions. Where is your product showing up when customers search it up? Amazon is a search engine platform for products. Similar how Google is for information, Amazon is for products. That's where you want to show up for the most relevant keywords. And you should know this from your product research, is if you are a styrofoam cup, you don't want to be showing up for plastic cup. But you do want to show up as styrofoam cup at one of the top searches. So this is where SEO and PPC impact relevancy a lot. They make sure that you're showing up for the right things and your relevancy is right. So then the next thing is click-through rate. After a customer sees it, are they clicking on it? Like I mentioned, if you're a styrofoam cup showing in the plastic cup search, well, no one's going to click through your product. They're going to see it, you're going to get an impression, but you won't get a click-through. But if you, that's where the second step of it, they go to your product detail page after they click through it, and then that's where the final one is conversion rate. They're buying the product. So how many of the people, and it's a funnel, so it's obviously going to start from the top, relevancy, impressions, then it's going to go to click-through, which is impacted heavily by the main image, the title, the price, and then conversion. Secondary images, your premium A+ content to an extent, bullet points, etc., is going to impact that. And these are a flywheel effect. One impacts the other. Like I said, if you're getting high click-through, a certain key term, then you're going to show up higher in the search results. And if you show up higher, you're also going to get more click-throughs, which also means you're going to get more conversions, because people are clicking through because they like the price, and if they like the price, they're going to also buy it. So usually the good news is if you hit on these right, you're going to follow through and they're going to go through in the right way. So this is a video, the start of a series. I'm going to get into each one of these: relevancy, and conversion and click-through in more in depth. I'm going to do the next video I'm going to be doing is about relevancy. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss on that. But for now, I'm going to mention the 3 big mistakes we see brands do very often. The first thing is focusing on things that don't move the needle. And we see this very often is like, for example, they have an issue with conversion rate and their secondary images suck. But instead, they're focusing on the bullet points. Even like people don't understand that when you're searching on a phone where most of the purchases have happened 80% if not more, you don't even see the bullet points unless you're scrolling down so much, because Amazon knows that it's not that relevant for customers. But secondary images, you're seeing those immediately. You just have to swipe right. Make sure you focus on the things that actually move the needle. The second one is optimizing the wrong thing at the wrong time. You're looking at your funnel, you're fixing your conversion rate, for example, when it's over 15%. But your conversion rate, if it's over 15%, that's great. You should focus on your click-through and your impressions. If let's say your click-through rate is less than 0.5%, then you have an error there. What's wrong? Is your main image bad? Let's look at the main image. So knowing the data for your funnel and where the most leakage is happening, which one is below the benchmark or the status quo. And you can use tools to check your conversion rate against the competitors. Tools like this is, for example, Amazon Search Query Performance. It shows you your conversion rate against competitors. You can also think of tools like Jungle Ace. Actually, they make that data more consumable. And then the third thing is not testing and adapting. They think if a lot of brands just make the false suggestion that if you get it right the first time, you don't have to iterate. But the competitors are always showing up. There's other search terms, trends. So for example, right now, maybe styrofoam cup is the way to search for this kind of cup, for example. But in a few months, maybe there's another term that customer avatar is using to search for that term. So you have to make sure that you're always testing the more recent ones. And each one is tested more often than others. It depends on where you have leakages in your funnel. But that's what you have to look at. And you love to use Amazon Manager Experiments feature. It's honestly very fun and very cool. So we just change titles through it. It can choose the best one. And there's other testing tools you can use as well. They're even within Amazon, brand analytics, the customer journey, etc. If you have a great product and a strong brand, growth is just the most thing you had in the market. The brands test and optimize are consistently the ones that win. So Amazon is getting smarter than ever. The bad products and bad strategies and the gimmicks, they won't work. They're not healthy for your brand in the long term. Take a little bit more time, focus on the fundamentals, getting the things accurate, and it's like lubricant basically. It makes the rest of the process much easier and much faster as well. So if you watch this video to learn how we basically exploded one of our products to sell more than 90 a day. And if you want to reach out to an expert for free, go to videra.com, book a strategy call if you're struggling with any of these steps, and we can talk to you more in depth on how to fix it. And drop a comment below if you need help with anything. I'm personally replying to everything.